Some say 87% of catastrophic engine failures are preventable. I say it's closer to 99%. I pushed my own truck past 700,000 miles, and it wasn't magic. It was a set of simple, almost secret habits that most drivers completely ignore. Engines don't just die. We kill them. With every turn of the key, we're either adding to their life or slowly chipping away at it. The good news? It's never too late to change your habits. Even if your engine is already showing signs of wear, you can start reversing the damage today. Ready to learn the secrets the pros know? Let's dive in.
Habit number 20, the 5,000-mile myth and the oil change ritual. Let's bust a big myth right away. The idea that modern synthetic oil lasts 10,000 or even 15,000 miles without a change. That might sound convenient, but in the real world, it's risky advice pushed by marketing, not by mechanics. The habit that helped push my truck past 720,000 miles, simple. Change your oil every 5,000 miles or every 6 months, whichever comes first. And for a brand new engine, the first oil change at 1,000 miles is non-negotiable. It flushes out all the metal shavings and contaminants left behind from the factory break-in. Ignore that, and you're basically letting microscopic sandpaper circulate through your engine. If you do your own oil changes, take it one step further. Cut open your used oil filter and inspect the pleats. If you see a metallic sparkle, that's your engine crying for help. No expensive diagnostics needed, just smart preventative car care.
Habit number 19, the one oil rule and viscosity vexations. Changing your oil is smart, but using the right oil is what really keeps your engine alive. Too many people just grab whatever's on sale, thinking all oils are the same. Big mistake. Your engine is engineered for a specific oil viscosity, and it's not a suggestion, it's a prescription. Take 5W30, for example. The W stands for winter, and the first number shows how well the oil flows when cold. The lower that number, the quicker your engine gets lubrication during cold starts. The second number? That's the oil's thickness at high temperature. If your car needs 5W30 and you pour in 10W40, you're putting strain on your oil pump and starving critical components of lubrication. And for modern engines, especially turbocharged ones, full synthetic is non-negotiable. It handles heat better, resists breakdown longer, and flows more consistently in extreme conditions. The rule is simple. Stick to what your manufacturer recommends, no exceptions.
Habit number 18, the leak trap and the drip of doom. Let's get one thing straight. There's no such thing as a small oil leak. That little drip on your driveway might not seem like a big deal, but it's a silent killer. I've seen a $3 gasket lead to a $4,000 engine rebuild because someone waited too long. Leaks don't just make a mess, they destroy oxygen sensors, corrode rubber belts, and fry electrical connectors. Worse, if oil drips onto a hot exhaust manifold, you're not just risking damage, you're flirting with an engine fire. And here's the kicker. Modern engines, especially turbocharged ones, already burn a little oil by design. So while you're brushing off that tiny leak, your oil level is dropping faster than you think. By the time the warning light comes on, you could already be a quart low, doing serious damage without even knowing it. I made it past 720,000 miles because I never ignored a single drop.
Habit number 17, the warm-up window and the cold start killer. If you start your car and immediately hit the gas, you're slowly killing your engine. Cold starts are one of the harshest moments for any motor. Roughly 90% of engine wear happens in the first few minutes after ignition. That's because the oil is still thick and hasn't fully circulated, leaving metal parts to grind with minimal protection. I always tell people, let your engine idle for 30 to 60 seconds before you start moving. Then, for the first 5 to 10 minutes of your drive, keep the RPMs low and your foot light. No hard acceleration, no revving. Give your oil time to warm up and coat every part evenly. Especially in cold weather, this habit can mean the difference between 200,000 miles and over 700,000 miles. Warm it up right, and your engine will thank you with a longer, smoother life. Habit number 16, the idling myth and the sooty secret. Warming up your engine doesn't mean letting it idle like a space heater for 10 minutes. That old-school habit is actually harmful. When an engine idles too long, it takes forever to reach proper operating temperature, and that delay leads to incomplete combustion. The result? Thick carbon buildup inside the combustion chamber and on intake valves, especially in modern direct injection engines. That gunk chokes performance and costs a fortune to clean later. Plus, idling keeps oil pressure low, meaning critical upper engine parts don't get the lubrication they need. So yes, warm your engine, but do it smart. Idle for 30 to 60 seconds, then drive gently. That's how I kept my car running clean past 720,000 miles.
Habit number 15, the PCV Valve Bomb and the $10 disaster. Ever heard of the PCV valve? Most people haven't, and that's why it quietly ruins engines. It's a $10 part that prevents pressure from building inside your engine by rerouting blow-by gases back into the intake. But when it clogs, which it eventually will, it turns into a silent killer. Pressure starts forcing oil past seals and gaskets, fouling spark plugs, and, in worst cases, blowing out the rear main seal or cracking the valve cover. I've seen engines packed with thick sludge like chocolate pudding, all because a stuck PCV valve was ignored. Check it every 30,000 to 50,000 miles, clean or replace it, and save yourself a $2,000 repair bill.
Habit number 14, the MAF Sensor Secret and the breath of life. If your car feels sluggish, idles rough, or suddenly guzzles gas, your mass airflow sensor, MAF, might just be dirty, not broken. This sensor controls your engine's air-fuel balance by measuring how much air is coming in. But over time, it collects dust, oil vapors, and grime, throwing off its readings. The result? Poor fuel economy, misfires, or rough starts. I've seen drivers waste hundreds replacing spark plugs and injectors when all they really needed was a $7 can of MAF cleaner and 5 minutes with the hood open. Clean it every 10,000 to 15,000 miles and give your engine its breath of life back.
Habit number 13, the air filter scam and the dust of destruction. Your engine breathes just like you do, and if you feed it dirty air, it's only a matter of time before it starts to choke. A clogged air filter doesn't just reduce performance, it throws off your engine's entire fuel-to-air ratio, making it run rich, burn more fuel, and build up carbon where you don't want it, like on your intake valves and piston heads. And here's where the real danger kicks in. Cheap aftermarket filters might look fine on the outside, but most don't seal properly. That means tiny dust particles and sand can sneak past and start carving away at the insides of your engine like microscopic sandpaper. Over time, you're talking about worn-down piston rings, scratched cylinder walls, and eventually a huge drop in compression. I've seen engines lose power and efficiency just because someone wanted to save $5 on a no-name filter. Stick with OEM or high-quality aftermarket brands that actually meet your car's filtration standards. It's a small part with a massive impact, and it's one of the easiest ways to protect your engine for the long haul.
Habit number 12, the spark plug trap and the heartbeat of your engine. Whether you're behind the wheel of a Civic or a Corvette, your engine lives and dies by one thing: the spark. And that spark comes from one of the smallest but most critical parts under the hood, your spark plugs. Skimping here is one of the fastest ways to ruin performance. Those cheap gas station plugs might fit, but they don't fire consistently, they don't last, and they can't handle the heat. Misfires, rough idling, poor fuel economy, and long-term engine damage all start with one bad spark. Modern engines are built with precision and require high-quality platinum or iridium-tipped plugs like NGT, Denso, or Bosch to maintain proper combustion timing and fuel burn. These premium plugs resist heat better, deliver consistent firing, and can last up to 100,000 miles without skipping a beat. I've had customers bring in ticking engines, convinced they had a serious issue, only to discover they'd thrown in bargain bin plugs. We swapped them out with OEM-spec high-performance plugs, and the engine instantly smoothed out. Don't wait for warning signs. Change your spark plugs at the right interval, and always choose quality over cost. Your engine's heartbeat depends on it.
Habit number 11, the fuel filter forgetfulness and the clog of consequences. It might be small, hidden, and easy to forget, But your fuel filter is one of the most important lines of defense your engine has. Its job? To catch every bit of rust, dirt, and debris that settles in your fuel tank before it reaches the injectors. But over time, all that junk builds up and clogs the filter. When that happens, your fuel pump has to work harder just to keep up, straining the entire system. You'll start noticing sluggish acceleration, hard starts, maybe even stalling. Worse, a clogged filter causes your engine to run lean. Too much air, not enough fuel. And that's a recipe for detonation, melted pistons, and engine failure. The fix? Simple. Replace your fuel filter at regular intervals, usually every 20,000 to 40,000 miles, depending on your vehicle. It's cheap, easy, and can save you thousands in fuel system repairs. Ignore it, and you're rolling the dice every time you hit the gas.
Habit number 10. The gas cap gaff and the seal that saves. It might look like a small plastic lid, but your gas cap is one of the most overlooked parts of your car's fuel and emission system, and neglecting it can lead to big headaches. The entire fuel system in modern vehicles is sealed and pressurized. That gas cap forms a tight seal to keep fuel vapors contained and maintain proper pressure inside the tank. But over time, the rubber gasket on the cap can dry out, crack, or wear down. A loose, broken, or missing gas cap causes a pressure imbalance that can trigger your check engine light, confuse your onboard computer, and throw off your fuel trim. The result? Poor fuel economy, higher emissions, and unnecessary trips to the mechanic. In fact, a faulty gas cap is one of the most common and easily fixable reasons a check engine light comes on. I've seen people spend hundreds on diagnostics only to find out it was a $15 cap all along. And in some states, a leaking cap can even cause you to fail a smog test. So if your check engine light suddenly shows up after a fill-up, stop and double-check that your cap is clicked on tight. Still no luck? Replace it. It's the cheapest insurance you can buy for your fuel system.
Habit number 9. The tire pressure trap and the foundation of your ride. Your tires aren't just rubber circles. They're your car's only contact with the road, and they carry the full weight of your vehicle, passengers, and cargo at all times. Yet so many drivers ignore one of the easiest and most important habits in car care, maintaining proper tire pressure. Underinflated tires increase rolling resistance, which not only reduces your fuel efficiency, but also overheats the tire and shortens its life dramatically. Uneven tire wear becomes inevitable, and you could find yourself buying a new set thousands of miles too soon. Worse, an underinflated tire is more prone to blowouts, especially at highway speeds. On the flip side, overinflated tires reduce grip and ride comfort, increasing your stopping distance and reducing traction during emergency maneuvers. It's a lose-lose if you're not checking your pressure. That's why I check mine at least once a month and always when the tires are cold, because heat from driving can give a false reading. The right PSI isn't some number stamped on your tire, it's printed on the placard inside your driver's side door. Follow that, not guesswork or myths. And if your vehicle has TPMS, Tire Pressure Monitoring System, don't assume it catches everything. Some systems only warn when pressure drops 25% below the recommended level, which by then is already dangerous. A $10 tire gauge and a few minutes a month can save you hundreds in fuel, thousands in tire wear, and even your life in an emergency.
Habit 8. The battery terminal blunder and the corrosion creep. Your battery might be working fine until one day it just doesn't. And more often than not, the culprit isn't the battery itself, but the crusty, white corrosion quietly building up on your terminals. That powdery mess? It's a chemical reaction from leaking acid or vented gases reacting with the metal terminals. It may not look dangerous, but it creates resistance, and resistance is the enemy of electricity. A corroded connection can block current, mess with your alternator's charging ability, trigger dashboard warning lights, and in colder climates, leave you stranded with a dead car on a freezing morning. And here's what most people don't realize. Even if your car starts, corrosion forces your alternator to work overtime just to maintain charge, putting extra wear on a part that's expensive to replace. The fix is simple and dirt cheap. Disconnect the battery, negative first, scrub the terminals with a wire brush or baking soda paste, rinse, and apply a little dielectric grease or petroleum jelly to keep it from coming back. A clean terminal ensures maximum power delivery to your starter, ignition, sensors, and onboard electronics. Think of it as clearing the arteries of your car's electrical heart. Skip this, and you're risking slow cranks, dead starts, and a battery that fails long before its time.
Habit number 7, the coolant catastrophe and the lifesaver fluid. Coolant isn't just colored water, it's the lifeblood of your engine's temperature control. And despite what some manufacturers say, it's not a lifetime fluid. After 5 years, or about 50,000 miles, it starts to degrade, turning from a protective fluid into an acidic time bomb. That acidity quietly eats away at your water pump, rubber seals, aluminum radiator, and even the engine block itself. The damage builds slowly until one day you're stuck on the side of the road with a blown head gasket or cracked radiator. And here's a crucial mistake too many drivers make, mixing different types of coolant. That green, orange, or pink stuff isn't just for show, each has a different chemical base. When mixed, they can react and form a sludgy gel that clogs coolant passages and strangles your engine's ability to stay cool. That's not just bad, it's potentially fatal for your car. The fix? Flush your coolant system every 5 years like clockwork. And while you're at it, swap the thermostat. It's a cheap but critical part that regulates coolant flow. When it sticks closed, your engine overheats in minutes. When it sticks open, it runs too cold, which can also cause long-term wear. Bottom line, treat coolant like the vital fluid it is. Ignore it, and you're one boil over away from a repair bill worth more than the car.
Habit 6, the transmission fluid tragedy and the forgotten fluid. Your transmission is like the brain of your drivetrain, precision engineered, brutally expensive, and often completely neglected. Most people obsess over oil changes, but forget the one fluid that keeps their gears from grinding into scrap: transmission fluid. This stuff does everything. It cools, lubricates, and controls hydraulic pressure inside a gearbox filled with tiny valves, clutches, and planetary gears. But over time, that fluid breaks down. It gets scorched by heat, polluted with fine metal particles, and loses its ability to do its job. You won't notice the damage right away. It starts subtle. Slipping gears, delayed shifts, maybe a shudder on acceleration. Ignore it long enough, and you're looking at a $4,000 to $7,000 transmission replacement. And here's the kicker. Many automakers call it lifetime fluid. Translation? Long enough to get you past the warranty. I've seen lifetime transmissions give out at 90,000 miles because no one touched the fluid. That's why pros recommend changing your transmission fluid every 40,000 to 50,000 miles, even if the manual says otherwise. And always replace the filter if your transmission has one. It's your only line of defense against internal debris. Think of it like a blood transfusion for your car. Ignore it, and vital systems fail. Do it on time, and your transmission could outlive the vehicle.
Habit number 5, the brake fluid blunder and the stopping power secret. Most people watch their brake pads, but almost no one pays attention to the fluid that powers the entire system. Brake fluid doesn't just sit there, it's hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture from the air every single day. Over time, that invisible moisture becomes your brake's worst enemy. It corrodes metal lines, eats away at seals, and worst of all, lowers the fluid's boiling point. That means under hard braking, like towing, mountain driving, or emergency stops, your brake fluid can literally boil, creating vapor pockets that make your pedal feel soft or spongy. That's not just annoying, it's dangerous. You could press the brake and get nothing back. I've seen daily drivers lose all stopping power on a downhill stretch just because their fluid hadn't been changed in years. Manufacturers recommend a full brake fluid flush every 2 to 3 years, but almost nobody does it. And that's how $80 in preventative maintenance turns into $1,500 in rusted calipers and seized master cylinders. Want to know how to check it? Pop the hood, find the reservoir, and look at the fluid. If it's anything darker than light yellow, it's overdue. Fresh brake fluid keeps your system strong, your pedal firm, and your stopping distance short. In high-pressure situations, it's the difference between a close call and a crash.
Habit number 4, the power steering fluid oversight and the easy turner. You twist your steering wheel with one finger and expect your car to respond instantly. But behind that effortless turn is a system that takes a beating every time you drive. And at the heart of it is power steering fluid,
one of the most overlooked yet essential fluids in your car. It doesn't just help you steer, it lubricates the power steering pump, cushions the internal seals, and keeps the rack and pinion system working under pressure. But over time, that fluid breaks down, collects metal shavings, and picks up grime. When that happens, the first sign is subtle. A faint whining noise when you turn, or the wheel starts to feel a bit stiff on cold mornings. Keep ignoring it, and you're looking at a burned-out pump or a leaking steering rack, both expensive repairs that could have been avoided. Here's the thing, most car manuals don't even list a fixed interval for changing power steering fluid, but that doesn't mean it's lifetime. Mechanics know better. A flush every 50,000 to 75,000 miles can prevent thousands in steering repairs. Want to check it? Look at the fluid reservoir. If it's dark brown or smells burnt, it's overdue. Fresh fluid should be clear or light amber. It's a simple service that restores smooth steering, protects the system, and keeps that easy turn feel you probably didn't realize was fading. Your hands might be turning the wheel, but the fluid does all the heavy lifting.
Habit number 3, the car wash catastrophe and the finish protector. Washing your car isn't just about looking shiny for the weekend. It's about protecting the paint, the clear coat, and ultimately your car's value. Road salt, grime, brake dust, bird droppings, and tree sap are more than ugly. They're chemical time bombs that eat through your finish and cause rust, fading, and permanent damage. But here's where most drivers go wrong. They treat their car like a dish. Using household cleaners like dish soap strips off the wax and dries out the paint, leaving your clear coat exposed. And those spinning brush automatic car washes? They're convenient, but they can scratch your paint with every pass, especially if the brushes aren't cleaned properly. If you want your car to last and keep it shine, hand washing with a dedicated car shampoo and microfiber mitt is the way to go. It's gentle, thorough, and safe. Rinse well, dry with a microfiber towel, and every 3 to 6 months, apply a layer of wax or ceramic spray. This creates a protective barrier against water, UV rays, and grime. Bonus, it makes dirt slide right off next time you wash. Take care of your paint, and your car will not only look better, it'll resist rust, hold value, and turn heads for years to come.
Habit number 2, the detailing deception and the interior saver. Keeping your car's interior spotless feels good, but use the wrong products and you're quietly ruining it. Many off-the-shelf cleaners, especially household sprays and greasy dashboard dressings, do more harm than good. That slick, shiny finish some cleaners leave behind, it's not protection, it's a dust magnet. And over time, those petroleum-based formulas can actually dry out your vinyl and leather, causing fading, cracking, and permanent damage. Even worse, under direct sunlight, greasy surfaces can bake and break down, especially on dashboards and steering wheels. Instead, use cleaners made for automotive interiors. Matte finish, UV protectant formulas that clean without coating everything in slime. For leather, stick with pH-balanced conditioners that nourish the material and prevent stiffness or peeling. And always test in a hidden spot before going all in. This isn't just about looks, it's about preserving your resale value and protecting your comfort for the long haul.
Habit number 1, the overload effect and the weight of the world. Your car isn't a dump truck, and treating it like one is a recipe for disaster. Every vehicle has a gross vehicle weight rating. That's the max weight it can safely carry, including passengers, fuel, and cargo. Go over that limit, and you're silently punishing the engine, overheating the transmission, overloading the suspension, wearing out the brakes, and stressing the frame. I've seen people throw 500+ pounds of construction material into tiny sedans and wonder why, a week later, their head gasket blew, the radiator cracked, and the gear started slipping. It wasn't a coincidence. Always check the gross vehicle weight rating sticker on your door jamb. It's there for a reason. Whether you're hauling gear, moving boxes, or just carrying extra passengers, remember, extra weight equals extra wear. Lighten the load, and you'll dramatically extend the life of everything under the hood.
And that's it. 20 habits, tested over hundreds of thousands of miles, that kept my engine humming while others hit the junkyard. No magic oil, no fancy tech, just real-world care that most people overlook. It wasn't about luck, it was about paying attention, staying consistent, and refusing to fall for lazy maintenance shortcuts.
Most people think cars break down because they're old, but the truth? They break down because they're neglected. The difference between a car that lasts 150,000 miles and one that crosses 700,000 isn't always about brand or engine size. It's about how you treat it. And these habits, they're the reason mine kept going through snow, heat waves, road trips, and brutal city traffic without skipping a beat. If you take anything away from this, let it be this. Your car is telling you everything. It just needs you to listen. Whether it's a tiny leak, a weird noise, or a warning light that flickers for a second, ignoring the small stuff is what leads to the big problems. So before you trade it in or blame the car, ask yourself, have you done your part? Start today. Adopt even a few of these habits, and you'll see the difference in performance, fuel economy, and peace of mind. If this helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're hungry for more real-world car wisdom that actually saves you money, headaches, and breakdowns, make sure to follow, like, or subscribe. This isn't just about cars, it's about being smarter with what you already own. Until next time, drive smart, drive safe, and keep that engine purring.